Hello and welcome back to the Traveling Milk Podcast. I am Rosie Fry.
I'm Alex Southard.
I'm Jameson Jones.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my god.
It's one of those nights.
Not even legally Jameson yet.
Fuck you, bitch. You are
Oh, someone's salty.
Well, I get salty about my being an illegal.
It still says Christopher Jones on your fucking computer.
Yeah, if Max says you're Christopher Jones, then you are still technically
The only thing I've done is set up an email as Jameson Jones and change my Facebook to Jameson Jones.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure people are unfriending you because your name is different.
They're getting very confused.
Don't care. But some people do call me Jameson, like people who I meet who... Yeah, people call me Jameson. It's cool. It's interesting.
Really?
It's going to be cool when it comes to that time after you change your name and maybe 10 years from now where you're known as Jameson and we're still left here like, oh, Chris. Oh, sorry, I mean, Jameson.
I'm never going to say, oh, sorry, I'm Jameson.
I know.
I'm Team Chris.
What's cool is that that's how I can kind of tell who like my old friends are, is that they'll always call me Chris. The people who know me really, really, really long time ago will call me Chip.
Chip!
Because that was my nickname when I played baseball in high school.
Chip Schuyler?
Yeah.
No.
And then I started going by Chris professionally, and then I thought Christopher Jones was too simple. And also there are Christopher Joneses in all the guilds in Hollywood, so I thought Jameson was a good first name.
If I may say, that is a badass name.
I did my best. Actually, I ran it by my inner circle of friends, and you guys were... Well, you were there on the night where I asked all my friends, and you were there when I just asked you, but I ran it by everybody before I decided that was the name that I wanted to take.
Everyone agrees that it's fucking awesome.
Well, yeah, it's whiskey.
Yeah, it reminds them of
It's
alcohol,
whiskey?
which
It's
they like.
it's good for your heart.
Oh,
Jameson Irish whiskey.
I
It
wouldn't
is
know.
good for your heart.
I don't drink it.
Yeah, I mean, Alex being 16 years old doesn't drink.
14 and a half. Exactly.
Sorry, I don't bridge the gap between the half.
See, when you're like a year and a half off.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I actually read this article recently about how whiskey is actually good for your health, like good for your heart. Not so good for your liver, but all the what's the term I'm looking for? Goodness that it has for you.
The term you were looking for was goodness.
No, it wasn't goodness, but I had to cover for myself.
Dude, cover all you want.
All the benefits.
Was it Cracked? I don't know. Maybe it was Cracked. I read an article that says drinking is good for your health, and on average, people who drink 1 to 3 glasses of alcohol a day live significantly longer than people who do not drink whatsoever.
I saw that. It's like 2 or 3 glasses a day.
Yeah. They think, this is just speculation because they don't have any scientific data to back this up, but they think it has to do with the relaxation of drinking.
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would have to agree with that. Whatever it takes. Honestly, most things that you do to relax will help you live longer, because if you're always stressed out, you are not going to live very long.
Yeah, stress is really bad for your health.
That's why I'm going to die when I'm like 32.
Yeah, I'm going to die when I'm
Seriously.
-8.
I'm going to go back in time.
You died like 20 years ago?
28 years ago.
Well, right, but I mean, if you do 20 minus 20 minus 8, you died 28 years ago.
That's what Alex just said.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, well, whatever.
Jeez.
I wasn't listening because I was listening to the fucking helicopter blare overhead because this is Los Angeles. And if it wasn't Los Angeles, there wouldn't be a fucking helicopter blaring over us.
There would be no sound if we were anywhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe Oakland, because then there would be gunshots.
No, that reminds me of Trapped, though. Like shooting Trapped and all the noise that would filter in our shots was absolutely despicable.
There's like every 3 minutes there's a car horn or a fucking plane or a Mexican family.
Or no, like quite literally there was a Mexican family that lived across from us in the alleyway, and they would play music and
just scream at each other.
They would be super loud, and yell at each other, and I tried so hard to edit it out, and it's so difficult.
We only know they were Mexican, not, some other kind of Hispanic culture because we heard them talking to each other.
Or because we saw them.
We listened to their music quite clearly.
Yes. But, I mean, to be fair, I did look across the alley and see that it was, in fact, a Mexican family living across from us. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said that Mexican family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not racist if it's true, or whatever.
I try so hard not to be racist that I end up turning out saying things that can be misconstrued as racist.
Yeah, that's okay.
So, I have a question for you two that the internet gave me. Yeah.
I don't like the internet.
So it's akin to a would you rather. I got this from a website called Would You Press the Button, where it gives you a scenario where there's a positive and a negative effect, and they're asking you if you would take the positive for the negative effect. So this one is, would you take the ability to stop time and go backwards in time if peanuts taste more like walnuts? What? Think about it. Peanuts. But now the specific wording was peanuts taste slightly more like walnuts. I wouldn't do that. I like my peanuts tasting like peanuts.
I abso-fucking-lutely would, because I don't like peanuts or walnuts. So there we go.
I don't know. Jameson, slightly more like walnuts.
Here's the thing about that question. Peanut butter would not taste the same.
Who cares?
Well, obviously I care because I'm the one who's answering the question right.
Only dogs like peanut butter.
I like peanut butter.
I like peanut butter. Here's my answer. I would never go back in time. I wouldn't risk my peanuts tasting slightly more like walnuts. Holy hell, does that sound like an awful, awful reality to live in?
I'm going to go ahead and actually answer the question that you posed to me instead of the two of you interrupting me. But no, I wouldn't. Because I can't imagine something like peanut butter getting ruined. And also because then people who have peanut allergies wouldn't get to taste the deliciousness before they asphyxiate on their own throats.
So you want people with peanut allergies to die?
No, I just want them to enjoy themselves while they die.
Oh, okay.
I just don't understand how anyone could sacrifice peanuts for time travel.
Well, it's not your jurisdiction. I mean, you shouldn't be able to change something in the world.
Does the doctor eat peanuts? No. So I think that answers your question.
Who's the doctor?
Who's the doctor? Everyone's asking that question. Doctor... Who?
Dr. When?
Dr. what?
The doctor went where?
Dr. Y.
Dr. Y. That's a great... Not like the word, but the letter. Dr. Y.
Dr. X.
Professor X. We talk about nothing on our podcast.
All of us... Last time we tried to have, real conversation.
Did we?
No, we've...
Yeah.
Every podcast, we have always ended up at a, political discussion. We have always ended up at, racism, equality, homelessness.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, but in that one we also talked about racism, didn't we?
Yeah, we always end up at something there.
Because I never listen to the podcasts when I edit them. I just listen to the first 5 sentences and then I'm done and I upload them. And sometimes I'll tweak with the levels on Rosie's audio because she's so loud.
So loud.
But other than that, it's I don't care. I just put it up.
We don't care what we're saying, people. Audience.
What Chris just told you guys is that he doesn't give a shit about you.
Who?
Whoa.
Jameson.
Oh.
I think what he was saying is he cares a lot about the audience, just not about what we're saying.
Or about how loud it is.
Who cares what we say?
There's a reason we have 30 views per video.
Oh, no, they'll pick up eventually.
Hopefully.
No, they will. It's not hopefully.
Well, I mean, to be fair, podcasts are a pretty difficult market, and podcasts aren't the only thing we do, so...
Yeah.
Our trap videos do pretty damn well.
They really do.
Which, if you have not watched our... it hasn't been up for very long, and we didn't market it very much, but the Kickstarter video we made that has a trap trailer at the end. If you have not watched it, you should at least watch the trailer at the end.
Yep.
Because
And if you're not going to be watching the video within the next week or so, by the time our Kickstarter launches, I'm actually going to export just a trailer for Trapped.
Oh, good.
So that people can just have access to that. Because, I mean, to be honest, the people who are going to be looking at our Kickstarter are going to be diverted to our Kickstarter site, not our YouTube. So, I mean, what's the point in denying people just from seeing the trailer?
Oh, and that trailer is absolutely phenomenal. Well done, Jameson.
Thank you.
It's honestly, it's more than just a sneak peek. It's almost a little bit of a spoiler, although if you don't know the story, you're not going to know what's going on, but it's still, what would you call it? It's not a sneak peek.
It's a hint at the idea of what is to come from what's going on in the movie. Because the thing is, like, we've developed so many trailers for the movie to kind of entice the audience, and I always edit the trailers without sound. Yeah. Because I want the audience to be able to experience the idea of what's going on in the movie, not necessarily hear. Because, I mean, the movie's so short, it's only 60 minutes long, that pretty much anything that I could throw into the trailer would automatically be a spoiler.
Yeah.
So it works more from a conceptual level to work with trailers for this movie without noise.
It's very enticing because you do end up seeing some things that, you know, you would consider a spoiler in the movie, but you have no idea in context because there's no sound why they're happening or what's going on, which I do agree with Jameson or Christopher, that it does make it more enticing because we do have a lot of trailers for this movie. And once you see something that's going to happen or things that are going to happen, it does make it a little bit more, what's the context? You know, why does this happen?
It's also the first trailer that I put up that was actually color corrected.
Oh.
And sharpened. So I did a lot with the images and also, I actually worked with finished material that I didn't work with previously. Like when I did the third trailer with the music by the band Muse, that stuff was all like, the movie was done at that point being shot, except for that last scene. But I hadn't color corrected it yet because that was over the summer. So at this point, I've actually gone in and done all that stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I don't look like a 12-year-old boy. I look like a 14-year-old boy. It's impressive, the work that you did.
You look innocent.
I mean, now you've gone from being 14 to 12. Formerly you were 16. I mean, you just keep getting younger.
Now you're -8.
Yeah. Right. You grew up a little bit because you went from -8 to 12.
Yeah, well, I'm significantly younger than you two.
Not significantly.
Really not that much.
It hurts my heart.
You're 1 year younger than me.
Significant. But no, the story of Trapped and how that movie came to be and just how we did it is pretty astonishing. And hopefully someday we'll get a chance to talk about that in full. But like,
we're hoping to show it at RTX.
Yeah, the Rooster Teeth con in Austin, which Alex and I are actually going to this summer from July 3rd to July 7th. We're going to be out in Austin. We're going to be trying to rent a conference room to show the full version of Trapped. And hopefully do I wanted to see if we can do like a talk or a talk back to the audience and see what people's reactions are.
Yeah.
Hopefully that being said that we get an audience.
I'm sure. Honestly, if you're at a con and you advertise that you're doing something, people will show up. And having been to cons
we need to get a
before.
couple kegs.
Yep. We legitimately need to... No, I'm serious.
Yeah, I'm serious too.
I've said we should buy a shit ton of beer and just tell people that there will be beer. First come, first serve. We'll give you a free beer.
Cookies or brownies or some shit.
Yeah.
Ken Dickerman will be there. Big shout out to 3 Chord Studios. Ken Dickerman and his wife Bonnie will be there.
Bonnie?
Yeah, that's his wife's name.
What a wonderful name.
She looks awesome. You know, you get impressions from Facebook. She's liked all of our stuff. Trapped, Traveling Milk Productions. She seems like an awesome lady.
That's a super cute name.
Yeah. Shout out to Bonnie.
Shout out to Bonnie!
Bonnie and Ken.
Ken, if you're listening, you better write me a message on Facebook, buddy.
Oh. Ken and Chris are having an affair, and no, I'm not calling you Jameson after this. I'm just calling you Chris. It's
That's
too
fine,
much.
man. I'm gonna introduce myself as Jameson, especially when it gets changed legally.
Yeah, it's too much mental work for me. We've been doing it throughout this podcast. I'm just gonna call you Chris.
It's a strange feeling on the tongue. It's foreign. It's
I almost prefer it.
Asian.
I almost prefer it being an inside joke amongst the three of us, though.
That we call you Chris.
Well, no, that we laugh about calling me Jameson. Because it's so, yeah, you're right, it is so alien on the tongue. Because it's, like, Chris is such an easy word to say, it's one syllable. But Jameson is 3 syllables, and you're not used to looking at me and making that association.
What's a syllable?
Yeah.
Also, even if I had met you and your name was Jameson, I would not call you, oh, Jameson, my darling Jameson.
Oh, Jameson!
It would be James or Jay
Or JC.
Jay Zizzle.
Jay Zizzle.
Jay Sizzle. I don't know.
I'm just gonna call you JJ because it'd be Jameson Jones.
Sometimes I throw up.
It's only when I speak.
Yeah. You idiot.
My my roommate and I have been watching a bunch of movies recently, but something that we have sat down and taken, I think, 5 attempts so far, we're still not done with the movie, is the Bronies documentary.
I watched it. I watched all of it.
All of it?
Yes, I did watch all of it when it was on TV on the Logo network.
My roommate Christian and I have sat there so far 5 times and tried to watch it. We keep having to stop because it's so painful.
It is really painful. I watched all of it, honestly.
We skipped the animation parts.
Yeah.
The animation parts are honestly the best parts of it.
What?
Yes, because the only thing I can really say about it is these people act like they're a minority, or they are disenfranchised for some reason, or that they, well, I just can't honestly get behind the fact that these bronies, as they call themselves, are just grown-ass men that watch a little girl's TV show, and they justify it. I don't get behind it. I'm all for equality. I'm all for people doing what they want. And honestly, if they were little boys watching a little girl's TV show, I would be all for that, because it doesn't matter what you do when you're a kid, what you like, that forms you as an adult, as a person. But when you are a teenager, say 16, or between the ages of 16 and 40, let's say, because in that documentary, there are some old-ass people, like late 30s, that are going to these conventions.
Late 30s is now old ass.
Yeah.
Well, for a convention, for a children's TV show, yeah, I'd say that's old-ass. And no, I don't get behind it. I tried to watch it. I've been to conventions. I try to get behind these people that like these things, that are just fans of something, but their whole reasoning behind it is that, well, it teaches the message of friendship, and it has really great messages behind it, and you learn so much. You learn all about friendship, and I'm like, you know what, assholes? You learn about friendship from fucking Sesame Street. But I don't see you coming out here and dressing up like Elmo. So, what's the real message behind My Little Pony?
Hello, resident dog. What's up?
Dog is...
She walks in and looks at us with disgust. So, well...
Sorry, that's my rant about bronies.
That's okay. I just like that Fiona walked in at the last second to just stare at you.
Because she also does not like bronies.
Sure she does.
I think they're past the point of needing to watch a show about friendship. If you are 24 and you don't know how to be a good person, watching a shitty little children's show made with Flash isn't going to help you at all.
What are you trying to say?
The fuck? Exactly what I meant. I think if you watch a show...
You said 24.
I'm just...
You don't watch My Little Pony, Chris.
What's My Little Pony?
Exactly.
It's not My Little Pony. It's My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
It's MLP, bitch.
Friendship is Magic.
Oh, shit.
It's not MLP. It's MLPFIM.
Chris is thinking as if My Little Pony played baseball, which would be My Little Pony MLB.
Yes.
MLP and VP.
MLP!
That's a really bad joke. I'm sorry,
It's
internet.
okay. You deserve it. But okay, so we attempted to watch it, and then I went off on my own. I was sitting late at night, and I'm just furious that people are that like grotesquely weird. I was just sitting there. Yeah, I was just sitting there like festering in my room. And
festering.
Yeah, like a
a moldy grilled cheese.
They make you angry. Bronies are enraging.
Yeah, and I was sitting there. I'm like, okay, there's only one way for me to like indefinitely figure this out for myself as a professional sleuth, which is what I have on my card, that I'm a sleuth.
Oh, good.
I decided to watch the first episode. I got 5 minutes in and wanted to kill myself. It's honestly, it's made with Flash, which I've been watching Flash videos since the 5th grade.
Since Stick Death.
Yeah, since Stick Death.
Since Homestar Runner.
Yeah.
Like, Flash doesn't impress me. They have some quality actors on it. The voice acting, I'm not going to bash any voice actor that ever does it. But it legitimately does not do anything for me. I sat there and I was like, this is a kid's show.
Yeah.
All of these values, if I had not learned them a long time ago, I would be a shitty person still.
The one voice actress that I do appreciate is Tara Strong. She voices Twilight Sparkle. Don't ask me why I know that. I have friends.
You watched the Brony documentary. I know
did.
her name is Twilight Sparkle.
Also, I have watched a couple episodes. Also, don't ask me why I've done that. I have friends do that. She was also the voice of Bubbles on the Powerpuff Girls show.
Classic.
And yeah, no, fantastic. I love that show even to this day. I mean, I'll admit it. That nostalgically, I love the Powerpuff Girls.
Chris shrugs his shoulders at the Powerpuff Girls.
I remember Flash Gordon.
But also she was on Drawn Together as Toot.
I don't know.
Oh, God.
She's the bane of my existence.
I remember that.
She's the worst character ever. But as a voice actress, like, she has quite a range. So it's interesting that the voice actress of Toot is now Twilight Sparkle. But she actually, in the documentary, she really cares about her fans, especially the younger ones. She cares. She goes to all the conventions. She cares about the younger people, and that I appreciate that in an actress. But I'm not behind the fandom. But I appreciate that as a voice actress, that she's kind and courteous and appreciative.
You know what I didn't appreciate? What we watched last week.
What did we watch last week? I forget.
We watched Kick-Ass 2.
You didn't appreciate that?
I appreciate just how much it sucked.
I didn't think it sucked that bad. I didn't think it was good. I didn't think it was fantastic. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was wholly unoriginal and didn't do anything new.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I know for a fact that you feel the same way. I loved the first one.
Yep.
I thought the first one was very innovative and a very cool, very, very cool hero movie about a guy that wasn't a hero.
And I think we both agree that it's one of my favorite superhero movies.
Totally. Absolutely. But the new one didn't do anything new. It just kind of stemmed on the first one. And it was kind of like it was on a crutch the whole time.
Yeah. The entire subplot with Hit Girl felt like a bad Mean Girls. And then it didn't focus too much on Kick-Ass, so that portion of the movie kind of just felt weird to me. But Jim Carrey.
Yeah, he was good for the 2 seconds he was in the movie.
Yeah, that was my biggest disappointment. I'm not a big fan of Kick-Ass just because I didn't watch the first one. I haven't read the comic book. I came into this watching the second one, which everyone said was not good. My favorite part was that I love Jim Carrey, and Jim Carrey was in this movie. And these two can attest that I was upset when Jim Carrey was not in the movie anymore.
Because he left all of a sudden.
for some reason.
Yep.
He walked out.
If you haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert, because I think we're going to talk about spoilers.
Uh,
If we keep talking about this shitty balderdash of a movie.
It's not much of a spoiler. It's a bad movie.
There's not
Still.
much to talk about.
No. They do a thing, and then they do another thing.
And the movie's kind of over, and there's some mediocre action, and Jim Carrey isn't in it.
Yeah. What's weird about this one, which I feel like they may, and to be honest with you guys, I never read Kick-Ass 2 in the comic. I never got around to reading Balls to the Wall. But I have a feeling that Kick-Ass would have been more revered as like the guy that started the costumed Avengers in the movie universe than he was in the like. I think Colonel Stars and Stripes, Jim Carrey's character says it once, like, "Hey, you're the guy who started it all."
Yeah, like
And then
once.
that's kind of it. Mm-hmm. Whereas I can imagine in the comic he would have been more revered, which is funny because it's contrary to that guy's character, which is he's a huge fucking nerd who everybody dislikes.
Yeah.
And I say I haven't read Balls to the Wall, but I've heard that it's good. And I guess it just felt like there was too much going on to the point of where they didn't have a central focus of where and spoiler alert, because I'm about to talk about something that's a spoiler for the first movie, so stop listening now if you don't want to hear that. When Nicolas Cage dies in the first one, which Rosie knows about because he's not there in the second one, that's the whole plot to the first one. That was the first time Nicolas Cage, I think, has ever died in a movie where I actually felt something.
Oh,
because they built up the idea of this father-son relationship
father-daughter.
Father-daughter, excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, also no, father-son too, because him and Kick-Ass they kind of had a thing where he revered Big Daddy and he looked up to him. But yes, more father-daughter where she couldn't function without him, and then when he died, there was like some gravity to the situation.
Yeah.
Which didn't exist in the second movie because there was really nothing at risk. I mean, Kick-Ass's dad dies in the second movie. And I was just like, oh, bummer. Because we see it over a cell phone. And
it wasn't Uncle Ben dying. It wasn't anything special. It was kind of like, he honestly had like 3 to 8 lines up until that point in the movie, and then he's just dead, and it's like, oh, no, okay, so dad character is dead. I didn't know his name. I did not know his name.
Yeah, also to point out, Kick-Ass didn't care that much. I mean, he cared for a little bit. He was like, oh, revenge now. But then after revenge now, it was like, cool, well, I'm just Kick-Ass again, and who cares about my dead dad?
We've watched a couple of pretty piss-poor movies lately.
yeah.
Yeah.
We watched You're Next together.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Oh, we did. I forgot.
I know.
Jeez.
This is the second time I've reminded Chris and Rosie that the 3 of us together watched this movie. They have forgotten twice now that this was a movie we watched. It was a horror movie called You're Next.
It was a movie about white people.
That is the best description for it. It's a movie about white Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
There was one ethnic guy.
And there was one ethnic girl. She was South African.
Oh, yeah. That's so white,
And they were being systematically murdered by a bunch of Mysterio killers in animal masks because that's more tense. And one by one, they systematically get murdered because they can't do anything. That's the movie.
Yeah. I had a couple problems. There was one ethnic male, and he, in the main group of people, he's the very first one to die. They have a dinner, and he gets, spoiler if you ever want to watch this shitty-ass fucking movie. He gets shot in the head with an arrow. He's the first person to die. They just immediately kill the non-white person. And then the rest of the movie is just really, really sad. It's just like how it doesn't deliver anything properly. I mean, their plan was to murder everyone. Why are they wearing animal masks? If, like, in all realistic situations, the slits in the masks were so small that they wouldn't be able to. Their field of vision would be so poor that everyone would have killed them in like 3 seconds.
Fucking lizard vision.
Yeah.
Their crossbow bolts hit by magic.
Yeah. Like, it's a load of bullshit that they could see anything. One of the guy's slits were vertical, up and down. Like,
He was a sheep.
Yep.
yeah. What are you gonna see out of that? Like, oh, is someone hiding on the ceiling? Is someone lying down under the table? Is someone left or right of me? Well, I don't know those two because I can't see those directions. Like, what the fuck?
I only know pinpoint accuracy.
I only know if people are up or down.
Good thing he was able to murder very accurately in front of him.
You know, that's what makes him scary.
The only redeeming character was knockoff Rashida Jones, which is what we call the woman who's from South Africa or Australia?
South Africa.
South Africa, okay. She was from a survivalist colony. Ooh. Which means she's good at stuff. And even though there were a lot of things she didn't do very well, she was able to survive, I guess.
Well, everybody knows the people that grew up poor have antisocial skills, like being able to survive during a massacre.
It was really arbitrarily put in. Like, I felt all of the main points of the movie were super arbitrary. Like, she was the main character. She ended up, spoiler again, she ended up killing everyone and, like, winning. And they just arbitrarily are like, oh, yeah, she's from a survivalist camp, that's why. Like, just throw it in there.
Right. Never, oh, what did you learn in your survivalist camp? No, I'm from a survivalist camp.
Yeah, she...
Oh, okay, you win.
It's like if you watched The Terminator and Arnold Schwarzenegger comes in, so, are you a Terminator? Yep. And then the rest of the movie happened and you don't know why. He just walked around and just killed people. But that's what the movie felt like.
Yeah, the rest of the movie happens and he kills a bunch of people and you're like, it's because he is a robot.
Did they ever explain why the two evil characters wanted to kill everyone else?
No.
Actually, no, they didn't.
No.
For people who don't care about this movie and don't want to watch it, there are two characters.
Two of the white people.
Two of the white rich people.
Well, everyone's white.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Okay, everyone's white in this movie, by the way. So that makes it less interesting. They hire these killers in the, barnyard masks to murder all these people. Shit, what was my point? Why?
They never say why.
They never explain why. They hired him, and they were like, good, did you murder my family? And they were like, yes. And they were like, great. But there was no reason why.
Yep. It was severely lacking in any storytelling or any facet of just intrigue. It literally...
Not to mention, we saw boobs in the first 3 seconds of the movie.
Boobs?
Remember?
Yep.
The first scene of the movie, there's some old guy having relations with his obviously younger and destitute and apathetic wife or girlfriend.
Prostitute.
Yeah,
Prostitute.
and we see boobs, and then she dies.
Yep. She literally, the point of her existence in the movie was for them to have boobs.
And then she dies.
Yep.
And you know what? What's sad is that we go back to that house later on in the movie and you see the old guy, never see the lady.
Yeah.
Because she was just there for boobs.
It was literally a floating pair of tits that just got killed.
She stood in front of a window with her boobs hanging out.
You gotta entice the birds.
And as a woman, I was just saying out loud, why would you stand in front of an open window with your boobs hanging out?
Yeah, as a man, I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, just from the feminist point of view.
I'm
not really a feminist. I just pretend.
I just don't understand how we can live in a time where people are producing something like You're Next, and then people can be writing something like The Name of the Wind at the same time. Like, those are two things that happened in a very close proximity of time to each other.
Yeah, when did the book come out again?
The Name of the Wind? I have no idea. legitimately don't know. I want to say like 2010 or 9.
Because Patrick Rothfuss isn't that old.
No, he hasn't been writing for very long.
But that I just finished that book actually, and that book is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Alex brought me over Wise Man's Fears, the second book in the proposed trilogy. I've been in a funk for the past year with reading, with like making movies and getting assimilated with movie culture. Like I've been watching a lot of movies and TV shows. This book is the first original book that I think I've read since I read A Dance with Dragons, which I read last year.
Which is part of the...
Which is part of the Game of Song of Ice and Fire trilogy, which they turned into Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
The Name of the Wind is a very good book.
Yeah.
And to anyone listening, I absolutely recommend it. And I appreciate Alex for introducing it to me.
No, Patrick Rothfuss has created something different in something that we've seen before. I mean, we've seen magic, we've seen fantasy settings of like the Lord of the Rings, where there's like different races and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my!
There's the lady who lives upstairs. If you guys can hear it on the other end, we have a neighbor that lives above us who stomps around.
It is midnight, and she feels the need to just stomp around like a fucking troll.
That's nothing. You guys remember, the past 2 hours, it was just back and forth and back and forth. I mean, I'd call her a certain something if I wasn't trying.
No, we're going to defame this lady in our podcast.
Okay, she's a crackhead.
Yep. After seeing her, I legitimately believe that she is on some kind of severely degrading drug that harms the body physically in many ways.
I don't live with them, so I'm gonna, and I haven't seen her, so I'm gonna take a couple cracks at this.
Yeah.
Does she look like she's on crack?
She looks really bad.
Okay, so
and I'd say that not as someone who wants to be like, well, that bitch sucks because she's ugly. She looks like shit. She looks like a crackhead. She legitimately alleviates my hatred because she looks so bad.
She looks
when I walk past her. If she hadn't done so much to the point of where we were shooting a video for our series Misdirection, and she was stomping around, and we were getting really bad audio, and I went upstairs and asked her to be quiet, and she just said, no, I need to be able to get ready for my day as I want to, even though I just asked her to be quiet. She didn't care. So I feel no pity for her and what she's going through.
What a good digression.
From there she goes again.
It really sounds like, you guys remember the troll from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone?
Philosopher's Stone?
Yeah, well, the Sorcerer's Stone, the movie.
There's a troll in the dungeon.
Yeah, troll in the dungeon. And then thought you ought to know when he falls over. But that troll where, he almost kills them, but of course he doesn't kill them. She reminds me of that whenever she walks around at 4:00 in the morning and she wakes me up because I think there's an earthquake.
She just walks back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Like, I don't understand what activity requires you to move around that much.
The activity is called cocaine or methamphetamine. Maybe speed, perhaps. PCP, even.
Which we don't take lightly here at Traveling Milk Productions. We don't take drug use lightly, and we don't make a mockery out of it.
None of us take drugs.
But we think that she is on something, and it makes life hard. It makes audio hard. I can't wait till the day where we rent a studio.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be great. But, back on track.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about The Name of the Wind.
Right.
I believe I was talking about how Patrick Rothfuss has created something new in an environment we've already seen. Because everyone pretty much has read or watched Harry Potter. Everyone has read or watched the Lord of the Rings. Most people have read or watched Game of Thrones. He's created something in those environments that I honestly felt like I haven't seen before. And it might just be the storytelling.
Yeah. It might be. And the fact of the matter is that I like Patrick Rothfuss's writing much more than I like Rowling's writing, and that's very much personal taste, yes. And I don't mean to criticize J.K. Rowling. I think she's quite a good writer, especially with how she progressed.
No, and I agree. I think the first book seemed aimed at children.
Yeah.
And the last book doesn't.
Yeah.
She grew. She grew with her audience.
Which is very cool.
Yeah.
I think it's very cool.
But I think as a freshman novel, The Name of the Wind is very eloquent. It's written well, but it's not difficult to read. He writes with purpose, but you don't have to stumble over every sentence. You legitimately can read easily from line to line.
What I think is the most enticing part of that book is the message that it carries, which is that sometimes the most intelligent child can be the most destitute child, the one that doesn't get enough attention or the merits that they deserve in order to progress in life to, like the saying goes, that who says that the person who's going to cure cancer isn't out there right now unable to get an education because they can't afford it. It's kind of the same idea, which is an idea that plagues our society very much, the idea that the poor cannot become educated because it costs too much money.
Yeah.
And I mean, it questions what is an education worth? What can you learn on your own? Are you just intelligent enough on your own to learn for yourself? I mean, we talk about that all the time. Like, I didn't go to film school, and we went with all of us shot trapped, and
damn, does that look like it was professionally done? No, I agree.
You agree with yourself?
Yeah.
It looks professionally done.
He's agreeing with me.
I know.
I agree with myself.
Grass.
I'm in a great mood. We had delicious tastings tonight.
Yes.
We had some delicious baked potatoes and some good Brussels sprouts and a very good dessert to go with that.
Yes, we did. And I tried mead for the first time tonight.
As did I. And can I say, it's delicious.
And we gave Alex a sip.
Yeah.
To try it because it is like dessert honey.
I'm not a huge fan of honey. People are like, oh, I put honey on my toast. I put honey on this. I don't know. It's weird. I have sat in restaurants and eaten sugar packets, but I still don't like. They're sugar shots. Holla, sugar shots. Shout out to Johannes Heine. But no, I've never liked honey. Tasting mead, which is, if I'm correct, it's fermented honey and water, pretty much. It's honey wine. It was incredibly delicious.
Yeah.
It tasted
Thank
like
the Nords.
Juice. We had a raspberry mead. We had a couple tastings, so we were pretty classy. We had raspberry mead, which just tasted like a juice squeeze, which if you don't know what that is, go to Trader Joe's immediately and go buy some. It's delicious.
Yeah, no, that was and we spent about $60 on the mead and a honey ale that we bought. That was the best $60 I've ever spent on liquor.
It was so tasty.
Yeah.
I tried one of each. I tried a little bit of each. There's two normal meads. One from Ireland, one from some Nordic country.
I don't remember actually where it was from.
Yeah. And two of them were the Bevmo, like generic brand, I believe, called Chaucer. Which, great name, by the way.
Yeah.
But those were fantastically delicious. And then we had the Irish, which was fantastic.
Yeah, it was absolutely delicious. And as I said before, that was the first time that I've ever tasted mead before. And being someone who enjoys his alcohol quite a bit, it was very enjoyable for me to experience.
It didn't taste like alcohol.
No, it tasted like juice.
Oh.
Honey juice.
And not in a bad way where it's like, oh, it's like a girly drink where you're going to get super drunk. It was something I would want to sit down and just casually drink.
Well, also those girly drinks are good too.
Yep. Truth.
Anyway, that about wraps us up for the Traveling Mill podcast. Again, I am Rosie Fry.
I'm Alex Southard.
I'm Chris.
God damn it!
Fucking assholes.
You're such a piece of shit.
I'm JJ.
JJ Jones.
JJ Jones.
All right, thanks for listening to this bullshit.
Yeah, thanks for listening, you guys.
Have a good night.